Are you an expert in another field, or you're trying to figure out how to use that knowledge that you built up in your past career, or maybe just another area of real estate that you want to leverage to be an amazing real estate agent? Well, you're in luck because today we've got Thomas Wohl from Raleigh, North Carolina joining us.
I think the most important part is you need to understand what you're not doing right and just put your nose down and head down and make an adjustment and keep moving forward, because there is no other option in my opinion, right? So failure to me is not an option. So I guess that's my philosophy. And in my opinion also, nothing replaces hard work. Technology enhances it, but doesn't replace it, if it makes sense.
Welcome back to Unstoppable Agent. This is the show where real estate agents come to build an unstoppable business, unstoppable wealth, and an unstoppable life of impact. I'm your host, Brian White. I'm a local North Texas realtor, team leader, associate broker, and an all-around amazing guy in North Texas. I'm with eXp Realty, and I just love interviewing amazing agents at eXp and getting them to share, really learning from them, learning with you as we go through this about what makes their business amazing. If you haven't already, we do this each and every day, so be sure to subscribe so you never miss one of our updates. Like I said, I'm excited to have Thomas Wohl from Raleigh, North Carolina join me. So Thomas, welcome.
Thank you.
So tell us about you. How did you get started in the business, and kind of what's your career looked like up to this point?
So I started in 1993. I was licensed in 93. I started practicing in 1994. Raleigh, North Carolina wasn't on a map for a long time. Our average sales price was $132,000 in the 90s.
Oh,
and
wow.
we started to have a huge influx of people with relocation from IBM. And then we have Research Triangle Park, which is now Silicon Valley East. So many other international companies started to come in town. So I started my business with Coldwell Banker, great company. Then Remax came in town in the late 90s, and I was their third hire for a franchise. And I spent 20 years with Remax, which I absolutely loved. However, after 20 years and being the number one broker in the state of North Carolina, I was number one broker in my area and a surrounding area. I thought that, you know what, I have pretty much gotten all the trophies I can get, which are collecting dust right above me. You cannot see that. And I met eXp, and somebody said, oh my God, this is a new thing in town, and eXp Realty actually is very agent focused versus company focused. And I said, really? I thought Remax and all the other companies were agent focused, but apparently they aren't, because you cannot be a part of the company. And the setup is just a little bit different. So I'm not going to say anything bad about any other companies. Let me just say that I think eXp is the best overall opportunity. So I've been with them for 3 years now. I am the number 4 agents now in the state of North Carolina. And I think I was ranked in number 86 in the entire country.
Right on. Congratulations. So you were number 4 in the state and 86 in the country?
Yes,
Is that individual agents?
That is correct. I'm an individual, not a team, correct. But I think by end of December, I'll be like number 2 or number 1, because I'm very competitive still.
So what I loved about what you said there is I talk to other agents, and a lot of times they think, you know what, my company is very agent centric, and there's a difference between messaging and actually living that out. And there's nothing wrong with being excited about the company you're at. I was about the company I was at prior to eXp as well, but then I saw what eXp was doing, and I couldn't unsee it. Now in comparison, we're so much more agent centric and so much for the agent. When the agent is the owner, you can't help but be more agent centric.
That's correct. And I'm going to have a very little story. And when a light bulb went off, it actually was a couple of years previously, because we had a regional meeting with my old company, which was a franchise, and I told you which company it was. And the people who were the franchise owners who actually came down, and their suits were like, I don't know, $5,000 suit that I've never seen before. They have the best shoes, the best suits, and everything else. And I was like, who are you people? So introduced themselves, and I realized that my franchise fee, part of my franchise fee was partially going to them. The people never met, never supported me. They didn't do anything for me, in my opinion. I'm pretty sure, like I said, oh my God, did this and did that. But anyway, that was the first time I met them in 20 years. So I started to wonder, so I work very hard. I work 7 days a week to support a company where I'm on a bottom, right? An absolute bottom, because I'm the one who basically work every single day and pushing my franchise fees up and further and further so everybody gets paid. And when my company Remax went public, I asked the franchise owner, I was like, oh, that is fantastic news for us. What type of stock options are we getting? I mean, how is a company going to reward us for us to work 7 days a week? And the answer was zero, because you are an independent contractor and best of luck to you. So that's interesting. So when EXP came around, and where you have the education, when you have the different stream of income, agent recruitment or the stocks or whatever that might be, it was such an opportunity. I was like, how come some of the other companies still exist? Don't agents see this? That actually you can retire and you can do better and you can benefit from being a part owner of a company and you can actually better yourselves. And I don't know why agents even pushing back on the idea personally, but that's my short story.
That's great. Yeah, why don't you want to own the company? Why in the world wouldn't you want to own the company? That's amazing. But before we got started, Thomas, I asked you a couple of things just about your superpowers in real estate, and you got us both to laugh a little bit. And the thing I loved was the second one, and you said it's that you work, and then you work hard. So tell me why you say that. I'm sure you work hard, I believe that, but tell me what makes you call that out as a superpower compared to others in our industry.
Well, I'm old school, right? I mentioned to you I've been in business since the 90s, and what I have noticed over the years, the technology is improving, which is fantastic. I think it's great tools for us, but it doesn't replace the personal touch, the hard work of work ethics. I started to teach other agents. I had 30 agents. I was teaching how to get started on business, how to do business the better way, how you can actually build an income stream. And I had like a 4-week course. And after the 4th week, I literally had 9 people left. You know why? Because I give them homework. They actually had to come to my class, and I wanted to see what they have done when I spent my time, my preparation to have them to make money. And most people didn't like that. They don't want to put in the work. A lot of agents, in my opinion, shouldn't say that if you're being recorded. I think a lot of people have a very different idea what it takes to be successful. Now, building a team, I cannot speak for. I have a full-time assistant, but I'm not a team leader. But as an individual, you're responsible for your own leads and for your own income, right? When you have a team, you look up to your team leader to give you that education and help you with that. But as an individual, right, I have to build my own business. And building the business, it's a lot of hard work. You have to have a compassion and you have to work hard, because nothing replaces that. I see a lot of talented individuals who are not willing to work hard, and guess what? They're not doing anything. They're doing okay, but they never excel to be on the next level. So that's the reason I say that's my superpower. I can outwork literally anybody. And because of that, I'm successful. That's it. And my second one was knowledge. And the reason is important because I firmly believe as an old school that I'm responsible to help others to better themselves as clients, buyers or sellers, and even agents. So I want to make sure that I'm highly educated. I have 5 professional designations, and just the list goes on. I guess I look at myself as a true professional, not just somebody who just want to sell houses. So I guess we have a theoretical difference of perception.
So it's an interesting combination though, right? Because you're knowledgeable, you continue to invest in yourself and build your skills, and you work hard.
Yes, of course.
Fascinating. So you know what you're talking about.
It works.
You know what you're talking about, and you go and serve the marketplace and you go out and sell. So where do you find your clients? Where does your business come from?
My business is it looks very different than most people would imagine. It took me years and years to build up my referral base, a lot of hard work. As a new agent, we didn't have internet, right? There was no Zillow, there was no Realtor.com. So I attended open houses literally every single weekend. I have talked to anybody I met on the streets, at gas stations, didn't care who it was, whether they wanted to buy a house or not, right? Because I had no business. So I built it up very slowly, but I had a very stable business. So at some point in my career, about 6 years in, I was chosen to be one of the relocation provider for GlaxoSmithKline when they were merging, coming from England. So that was another. So I have worked with a lot of relocation clients. And excuse me, that's my wife. And just the list goes on. So I built my business based on referrals. I have not gone after new leads because to me, again, it wasn't available. It's only like last, 15 years or so. Now we have the internet where you can actually pay for leads like Google advertising and Zillow again and pretty much everything else. So I have used those avenues as of late. But because I'm old school and because I started my business a long time ago, I actually have a very strong referral base. And if somebody who's watching it and wondering knowing about their business, the least expensive business is the referral base, the people who they know, because they don't have to pay a referral fee. They already have a relationship and a trust when somebody tell you, oh, by the way, call this guy because he's very good. All you literally have to do is work very hard in behalf of your clients and have the knowledge to support them. That's it. It's no secret.
Yep. And stay in touch with them afterwards. So there's some stat like 87% of agents never follow up with past clients.
That's a mistake.
That's the easiest. Right? You've already shown them you do a great job.
Yes.
Just stay in touch with them and remind them that you did a great job. So when the time comes up, they can either refer you or they can use you again.
And again, I'm not going to go into that. Some people, no matter how good you are, they will not refer you to anybody. And that's okay. That's 10% of the database. But there are clients who, no matter who they are, they will find the people for you because they like you so much. A lot of times I get the pushback, well, it's easy for you. It's not easy because it takes effort, conscious effort to follow up, as you said, after the closing, during a closing, and you're sending a closing gift and forget about the clients. It's not exactly how I built my business. So I do think it's very important, as I think you're a team leader, to have systems where you can follow up with the clients and you can let them know, by the way, I am here. Don't forget me. Even if you're not selling a house, you might have a friend who does.
Yeah, you could have an event, or maybe you could help them. In Texas, taxes are a really big deal. They're super high. Okay, we help people protest property. There's all sorts of stuff we can do to stay in touch with people and serve people and offer value. That great. Whether the 2 weeks, my script is 2 weeks or 2 years. Whether you're moving in 2 weeks or 2 years, I'd love to serve you. Maybe it's 20 years. Maybe I should add 20. But regardless, I'm happy to serve. Do you use KV Core? What kind of systems do you use as a reminder to stay in touch with people? You might have already had a system before you joined EXP, but
I don't think you want to talk about my systems. It is very old school, actually. Believe it or not. You ready for this? You're gonna laugh at me. I actually use Google Calendar one.
Okay.
And what's in my Google Calendar is a reminder for a 3-month, 6-month, and a 12-month anniversary of every single house I have sold.
Perfect.
So I do send a postcard to my clients, and I shouldn't say that, but when I have time, I call them, or when I find the pictures of them, I text it to them. Hey, by the way, great memories. Just wanted to say hello. So also, obviously, I send out calendars, I send out the postcards, so I stay in touch with them. But I do think a personal touch is important. So I have Google Calendar. Now, KV Core is fantastic, but I've been using KV Core for the last 3 years. But I had a different system through Outlook and through Excel sheet and all that stuff that actually had my clients. And again, I'm not the best or perfect with follow-up. I just try to improve it every single day. A lot of people think that you've been in a business forever, or for 20 years or 30 years and everything. I don't. I want to learn every single day. And I think that's differentiates me from some of the other agents or some of the other people who try to succeed. I still want to learn. There's always somebody can say something I learned something from, and I can still better myself every single day. And if I'm better, I can help my clients better.
I love that, because I think so many people, whether they're, particularly when I'm talking to EXP, people are intimidated by the technology. All right, so we're a technology company, so I'm not a technology person. Google Calendar, like what you said was revolutionary in its lack of being revolutionary, right? So you called somebody today. Terrific. Set up a recurring calendar invite for once a quarter to pop up on your calendar. That you could do that.
Yeah,
we could all do that. I think that's terrific. There are people.
If you wanna laugh, about 5 years ago, I actually had a little pocketbook that was paper, and I wrote everything down in it. Right, and people are like, "Oh my God, what is that?" Because that's my stupid system. I cannot ever lose, because if I lose my phone, this basically I still have it. And people say, "Thomas, you can back up your phone." I was like, "Oh, you can? That's great." So I know nothing about technology. I do now, but that's the reason my assistant happy to set up the Google Calendar. It works like magic. It's free, right?
Yeah.
KV Core, it's a more elaborate system for leads and client follow-up and all that stuff. But for everyday anniversaries or phone calls, all that stuff, Google Calendar is easy.
It really is super easy, and all your contacts are already in Google anyway. So
yes, that's
perfect. Right. Perfect. It's a great fit. So I think it's terrific. So what advice would you give a new agent? Lots of conversation about next year is going to be bumpy. I'm a firm believer that you find what you're looking for. So if you're looking for next year to be hard, it's probably be hard. If you're looking for it to be your best year yet, then you can go make it your best year yet. In your world, what advice would you give new agents going into next year, or that are just getting started?
I would give you a background, which I think some agents not going to relate to it. But in 2008, 2009, when we had a Great Depression, a Great Recession, in 2008, I work in Wake County, which have 12 different towns. I was the number one agent in Wake County in 2008, Remax. And people was like, "Oh my God, how did you do?" And I said, not much difference I was doing before. I just turned off the bad news and I kept working. Now, market has changed. Obviously, there was a huge recession, and sellers thought that things are still okay, and buyers thought, oh my God, the bottom fell out. So there was a huge gap of expectations. I figured out the way how I can bridge that just a little bit more. So I was still selling houses. Yes, the sellers were still losing money, and yes, the buyers were getting better deals, but there were still buyers and sellers out there.
Yep.
And to your point, Brian, yes, if you believe that you're going to have a bad year, you're going to have a bad year. I never thought about I'm going to fail, so I succeeded. So I do think if you keep working, yes, it's going to get harder, right? It is harder. So what? I'll move forward. My business changes, like your business will change. Everybody's business will change, but that's okay. We just have to change with it and try to do our best for our clients, and everything just moves forward. Maybe we have a different year, and that's okay. But I do think that we make the adjustments and we work hard at it and we figure out what works and what doesn't, then nothing really changes overall. It's just more market adjustments. That's in my opinion.
No, I think that's great. I think it's great. I heard an economist speak last week, and he talked a lot about rates. He talked a lot about what we could expect nationally. But one of the other things he talked about is just changing the conversation a little bit. Whereas historically, buyers want to talk about interest rates, and we can really change that conversation just in terms of talking about budget, a payment budget versus what's their budget for the house. Because everybody's trying to figure out, hey, I've got to keep my budget under $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, whatever it is they want to spend on a house. If the home price fits and the mortgage program fits within their budget, if we talk more about that, then the rest is just noise, and we can help a client get what it is that they're looking for.
And Brian, to your point, I think I'm very happy that you brought that up. I've been having the same conversation with lenders who I seek guidance from, because obviously we had an inverse yield curve. That means that adjustable rate mortgages were higher than 30 fixed rate mortgages for a while, which I have never seen that before. I always told my clients, oh, get the 5-1 ARM because it's less expensive. And when they came back, oh my God, right? But today, because interest rates are hovering right around 6%, a lot of the lenders recommend a 3-to-1 buy down. The 3-to-1 buy down, it starts at 4% for the first year, right? So that makes perfect sense because affordability gonna be there. Obviously, you have to qualify for that. But 4%, 5%, then 6%, and that means in 2 years, right, you can also refinance, because I don't think interest is gonna be as high forever. So at some point, they're gonna be reduced. So if you figure that one out, that is something you can offer to buyers. And a lot of times when I'm telling them, like, say, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that. There you go. So that is our job to figure out how we can help. That's what.
And that's great advice just in terms of working an overall team, right? There are a lot of different people that get involved in making a home for somebody. It's a title company, the mortgage. It could be remodeling folks. It could be stagers. It could be Curbio. We've got a partnership with Curbio to help sellers remodel a home where they don't have to pay for anything. There's a lot of folks that we can bring to the table. And you're an expert.
You're a resource guide, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. I think that's great advice for folks heading into the next year. You've been amazing. Do you have any parting comments or words of wisdom you want to make sure you share with our audience?
Wasn't it Wayne Gretzky, the greatest hockey player ever played the game, said that you will miss 100% of the shots you never take?
Yeah, love it.
So I love the philosophy, because if you don't try, if you don't fail, you don't know how it is to succeed. And I think a lot of people are afraid to fail, and don't be. I think the most important part is you need to understand what you're not doing right and just put your nose down and head down and make an adjustment and keep moving forward, because there is no other option in my opinion, right? So failure to me is not an option. So I guess that's my philosophy. And in my opinion, also, nothing replaces hard work. Technology enhances it, but doesn't replace it, if it makes sense.
Oh, that's a good, that's a writer downer. Technology enhances hard work, but doesn't replace it.
Yeah, that in my opinion.
So good. I think about, you're talking about skating to the puck. I think about this idea of people think about perfection and try to, if you're trying to go to due north, but you're starting from here, you can start and maybe you go up here and then you just have to correct. I can't do my things over here, but you just have to correct to get there, versus if you're still down at the bottom, you've got the longest way to go. So start and then just correct it along the way and get better and get better. So don't wait until you know all the script. Don't wait until you know the tools. Don't wait until you know the contracts even. We've got tools and people to surround you to help make you great, to help give your client a great experience. Just get started and love on people. If you get started, you work hard and you love on people, then nothing can stop you.
I agree. And again, when I was teaching, the first thing I said, by the way, who has failed? And I put up my hand. And people look at me like, what do you mean you? I was like, I fail every day. That's the reason I'm better. That's the reason I'm teaching you. You're not teaching me. So it was kind of an ongoing joke. But my first slide was failure is not an option, which is very true. Because if you believe that you're going to fail, then might as well just don't get started. Might as well never take the chances that you can have. So it's mindset. I do think it's important in our mindset. And looking forward to 2023, you have to set your goals. You have to have a right mindset. And even if your goals are not met, then figure out how you can meet them. What is on the way? What is a stumbling block? Or what you need to do differently, right? It's okay to fail. Seriously, it's okay. And you don't have to be overwhelmed with technology. Remember, Google Calendar does miracles.
Good. That's the big takeaway. Google Calendar is the best technology out there. Thomas, you're amazing. Thank you for joining me. We'll include your link to connect with you in our description. So folks, if you're watching this and you're moving to Raleigh, North Carolina, and the surrounding areas, or maybe you're an agent there and you just want to connect and network and mastermind with Thomas, I know he would love to help you. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Take care.
Bye.